Curtis Ellis joining us now on the John Fredericks Radio Network. Curtis, great to have you.
Hey, it's great to be here. It's my way of getting out, since I'm not allowed out, since I'm chained to the radiator in New York City.
I know you're chained to the radiator now. We've been stuck here in Chesapeake, but at least, I live in a neighborhood. I can get out once in a while. And so, you go for walks and stuff like that. I can play catch with my son out in the back. And I did put up the best thing I did, as you know, my son Joseph works out every day. It's a big thing, big part of his life. So just before it all crashed, I got all the equipment I needed to build him a gym in the garage.
Oh,
and
great.
Had I not done that, Curtis, now you can't buy anything. Everything is sold out, and it's 5X. So I got it like just in time. I got 2 more weight pieces coming the day after tomorrow. So he's pretty
yesterday
good
was 65, 68 degrees here in New York, but Governor Cuomo told us, don't go for a walk. Don't go for a walk.
Did he really say that?
Yeah. I'm not sure what he meant. Like, nobody could go for a walk. Don't go for a walk with a dozen of your friends. Because earlier in this lockdown, whatever you want to call it, he was saying, no, you should go out, enjoy the park, just don't play basketball and be socially distant. So he's definitely under a lot of stress. So now he said, don't go for a walk. I didn't listen to him. I went out. I took a walk.
You got to get out. You cannot stay in the house. You go bat crap crazy. You just can't do it. And although I'm enjoying being home with my family, Ann and I getting along great, I love the proximity. Help me. I love the proximity. It's been fabulous being here with my family. Help me. It's all good. Curtis.
Wonderful. It's all good.
It's all good, Curtis. It's great being home, and it's just fantastic. It never better. Listen.
All right.
Help me.
So look, Cuomo yesterday. The other thing he said was, remember when this whole thing started? By the way, if you close your eyes and listen to Andrew Cuomo, you might mistake him for Christopher Walken. They both have this way of talking, and this plant is very interesting.
And we need 40,000 ventilators. We need more ventilators.
40,000 ventilators. I have asked the president for 40,000 ventilators because the curve is a wave that will crash over. And you know where I keep my watch? I was in prison and I kept the watch. And now... anyway, so that's from Pulp Fiction, if you remember, Christopher.
Yes, I do.
From Pulp Fiction. So,
classic movie, Curtis Ellis.
So he said that the ship, the Comfort, the Navy ship, empty. The Javits Center, empty. They set up a field hospital, a MASH hospital. Alan Alda is not there because he's in the other world now. But they set up a MASH hospital, a field hospital in Central Park, empty, because these were supposed to take all the overflow, all the patients, all the regular patients, the non-COVID patients. But there are no non-COVID patients, because the whole thing was we're going to flatten the curve because the curve is a wave, and the wave will break over our hospital system and everyone will die. There will be no hospital beds, so we need to increase capacity, so they set all this up. Well, now the 110,000 hospital beds that the model, and I don't know who this model is. Is it Cindy? I don't know why we're asking Cindy Crawford for medical advice. Everybody's going to the models for medical advice. I wouldn't go to the model for diet advice. I wouldn't go to a model for anything. But the models are telling us how to run the country now, which is, I know a few models. That's a bad idea. But some of them are smart, but they're good at certain things. But anyway, the model said that they would need 110,000 hospital beds. Well, yesterday his guy was on TV at the briefing. You know how many hospital beds they're using now?
How many?
15,000. 15,000.
So they're 95,000 hospital beds off. There are thousands and thousands of ventilators off. Now he's sending them elsewhere. Like he's got he's overstocked after complaining about it. But look, it's these models that have driven the economic shutdown of America, getting rid of all the production. It's these models that have done that. Now we've had 2 days in New York City where it's been flat, and I thought the governor was very measured yesterday in saying, "Look, I'm excited that we're flat, and And
Right.
maybe, but we can't be over optimistic. We can't celebrate too early. Let's see how the next couple of days goes. But maybe we can start to get the economy back here because it seems that, we're not as bad as we thought it was going to be. I thought there was a very sober, measured approach.
Yes.
Right?
Right. I smell a butt. Were you going to say butt or not?
No, I think.
Oh, okay.
Look,
well, here's my question. I wasn't expecting any of the genius reporters in the Albany press corps to ask this question, but okay, if the whole idea was we were shutting down because we did not want to overwhelm the system,
right?
And now you've got this excess capacity in all these empty hospital beds, and the system's not overwhelmed. Why can't we open up? Why don't we use those extra hospital beds? Now we've got thousands, a couple thousand extra hospital beds for people who get hit by cars or get hit by bicyclers, which is actually a more dangerous problem in Manhattan, I can tell you that, or get, shot by their drug dealer friend or something. If we have all these empty hospital beds, why can't we open up again?
What was his answer?
Nobody asked him that question because, now it's just an article of faith that we must be closed down. The reason we closed down in the first place, according to Andrew Cuomo himself, was because the hospitals would be overwhelmed and we would not have enough capacity to deal with COVID and the usual hospitalizations. Well, we've increased the capacity of the hospitals.
That's why everything got shut down. In every state was about hospital beds, running out of ventilators, overwhelming the system. And remember, the early dire reports were that the healthcare system in the United States would collapse. That's why we shut the economy down. That's why we threw 10 million people out of work, and there's going to be another 10 million applying in the next 2 weeks. So we're going to get to $20 million. That's why we destroyed the economy. That's why we put families, homes, and businesses at risk, was to not overwhelm the system. Now the system's not being overwhelmed. So now the question is, when do we open back up again?
Right.
But see, now they change the argument.
Right.
See, this is what, look, Curtis, I really wanted to have you on today because this is what I've been saying here now for 2 days. Okay, so now the far left changes the argument. It went from hospital beds, ICUs, ventilators, and our health system collapsing. That's not happened. Yet they still want to keep it closed. They still want the economy to crash, die, and burn in hell. So now they change the argument to old people might die. So if you go out and you go back to work, you're killing old people. See, now they've changed the argument to death. Right? Because one didn't work. Now they change it to death. And then when you have a drug that can potentially be successful, that we've been talking about here for 3 days, hydroxychloroquine, instead of cheering that on like maybe there's a solution, what does the left do? They demonize it. They want to sue President Trump in The Hague. They want to make him crimes against humanity. They want to shut it down, have governors stop distributing it. Why? My question to you is, Curtis, why?
Well, because they hate Trump and they want to destroy the economy. And they have this reflexive, if Trump is for it, it's automatically bad, we're against it. They have this prejudice that Trump's an idiot, Trump's a fool, Trump's a fake, Trump's a fraud, Trump's, bad, can't have a good idea. And they start from that premise. And from that premise, they proceed. So whatever Trump says, therefore it must be wrong. So here's the headline, Reuters, special report, doctors embrace drug touted by Trump without hard evidence it works. Well, here's a newsflash, little journalist writer. This is a Reuters story. There is no hard evidence of any drug working on coronavirus because this is, hold on, wait for this, a novel virus. This virus did not exist. We did not know it existed 3 months ago, right? So therefore, there has not been time, the hard evidence, like the one that Fauci, Little Caesar, pizza guy, and the rest of the scientists who keep saying, oh, it's all anecdotal, the kind of studies they want take years to run, okay? Got that? Years to run. We have a virus that is 3 months old. Therefore, by definition, do the math, look at a calendar, it is an impossibility to have the hard evidence that any drug works, right? Mm-hmm. So when you write a headline that says, doctors embrace drug touted by Trump without hard evidence it works, you could say that about anything.
Exactly.
You could say that about bubble gum.
Well, you nailed
it. There is no hard evidence. So what are we supposed to do? Just sit here and die until the pizza study comes back?
Well, that's right. The Grim Reaper, Dr. Fauci. You've got one doctor in New York saying, look, I prescribed to 350 people. I'm 350 for 350. Call it a coincidence. Call it whatever you want. I'm continuing to prescribe it to my patients. And this is the other stand I don't understand about the Democrats here. Okay, and I'm just going to be honest with you and call them Democrats because they're all the same now. They're all singing off the same mantra.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
why
is
it
the party line? I mean, the party line came down from Beijing, and they're all singing the song.
It appears that way. Why is it not right or okay for a doctor patient to make that decision? What does the government have to do with this?
Well, that's
right?
the thing, and ask these Democrats that. If you talk about limits on abortion, right? They say, "Oh no, this is a decision that the government should not get between a decision between the doctor and the patient." But when it comes to chloroquine, they want the government to come between the decision between the doctor and the patient.
Because they don't want it to be successful. Look, I'm going to call this out. There's no other explanation for this than those that are calling this drug out don't want it to be successful. Why else would they be calling it out? You would think that every single liberal left-wing Democrat would be saying, hey, you know what? Maybe it's not tested. Maybe it's a coincidence, but it's a damn good coincidence. And I'm praying to God that maybe this can help people. They should be cheering it on. Instead, they want to demonize anybody for taking it, even though they might die instead. Because why? They want the economy to collapse. They want Trump out. They don't care. It's back to Malcolm X, Curtis, by any means necessary. 30% of people unemployed, eating out of garbage cans, mass looting, that's fine. Get them out.
Yeah, look, it's clear they're rooting against the USA. And I think it's just it's like Pavlov's dogs. They just have this reflexive action. I was listening to Morning Edition on NPR yesterday morning. You know, my alarm went off. I set the alarm radio alarm to that station because at nighttime they have the BBC on, and if I wake up at 2 a.m, I'll turn it on, listen to BBC, and go back to sleep. But anyway, they were reporting that the numbers are going down in New York. These people sound like their dog died. I mean, I cannot tell you. They were so sad that, I mean, you could hear the sadness in their voice, like they were disappointed that that it appears the worst is over, right? There's a glimmer of hope, but I really wouldn't, President Trump says there's glimmers of hope, but really we really shouldn't believe that. And, then Mara Eliason, the White House reporter, goes into, yes, the Democrats want voting by mail, but the Republicans are opposed to it because they believe that anything that increases turnout, the Republicans are opposed to it because there are more Democrats out there, and anything that increases turnout will work against them. That's what she said, as a matter of fact. I mean, these people, now they are rooting against America. They are sad that there aren't more deaths. They're not saying it on, I'm not talking about the Governor Cuomo or anybody. I'm just saying these reporters, you can hear it in their voice that they are disappointed that this isn't turning out to be the apocalyptic nightmare that their friend the Italian model told them it would be. And it's really it's just, and as you said, they're moving the goalposts. It used to be we had to close this down in order to keep the healthcare system from being overwhelmed. We now have clear evidence that in most places in this country, and even in New York City, the healthcare system is not being overwhelmed.
Not even
but
close.
We still have to keep it shut down. And now they're going to go to how do you inflate the body count? Right?
That's right.
So now, if you get hit by a car and run over by a car, and then the car backs up and runs over you again and crushes your brain, crushes your skull, but you have tested positive for COVID-19, you're going to be counted as having died of COVID-19. right? You are. You will be counted as dying of the CCP virus. They will say the CCP virus killed you because they've got to get this up. The other question I have is, like, why does Dr. Birx look like a real estate agent? Doesn't she look like
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean,
she's going to show us the lovely condo, and there's a great screen door, and the screen door will screen out the virus. It's wonderful. You can backyard. You can socially distance with your friends. It's a beautiful thing.
Here's the big walk-in closet.
Yeah, here's the big walk-in closet.
Look,
it's unbelievable.
I like Dr. Birx. I had the chance.
No,
I
do too. But she does look like a real estate agent.
She does.
I'm sorry. At this point, the liberal. I'm sorry to say this, the liberal elite, the Washington elite, has proven itself unfit to govern. It has been nonstop hysteria. First it was the Russia hoax. Then it was the Mueller probe. And, we're all going to die. The Russians have taken over the White House. And then we have the pandemic. And now we're all going to die from the pandemic. And then, and remember, the model told us the pandemic was coming. This is the model that told us, same modelers, same idea, this faith in numbers, the great modelers that told us free trade with China was going to be fantastic, outsourcing our industries would make us all rich, we'd all be, architects or I don't know what.
And if we let China in the WTO, they would eventually become a free and open democratic society. We'd all live in harmony.
Right, and now they're telling us we need to cancel the election.
Yeah,
we need to vote by mail. Vote by mail.
See,
everybody
they
gets a
want,
ballot
look,
in
Curtis,
the mail. Everybody. You don't even have to ask for one. I'm going to go down to my mailbox, and there's going to be a ballot in there that's addressed to resident, right? Like the way you get the junk mail. It says resident, resident, apartment 4. And that's how they think this works. They have vote by mail in Oregon. It took them 5 years to get the system to a place where they felt they could do it with some degree of accuracy.
Right.
I mean, these people just dream this stuff up, and they've proven themselves unfit to govern.
Well, it's like Joseph Stalin said, it doesn't matter who votes, it only matters who counts the votes.
But, I think absolutely. And it's just really what happened to this country is we got taken over by a professional class somewhere in the late 60s, early 70s, right? When the baby boom generation took over. Look, after the World War II was fought by the greatest generation, this is a blue-collar country, right? It was mostly blue-collar. Bankers were boring. People made fun of them. You had doctors, you had lawyers. Everybody hated the lawyers. The doctor, they had respect. People respected. But the professionals, there were very few of them. Most people they were common sense people. And then everybody went to college from the GI Bill. Everybody became a professional. And we started placing our trust in the professionals. And these people have proven incompetent. They destroyed this country. They outsourced all of the private equity people and the finance people and the bean counters. They outsourced our industries, got rid of everything. And now they've got these models. They don't know what the world looks like. They know what the model looks like, and then they govern from the model. It's like Star Wars. Obi-Wan Kenobi tells Luke, "Go with the Force. Turn the computer off. Go with the Force. Follow the Force." And you'll be okay. You'll get into the you get through
there's going to be Curtis. There's going to be a reckoning.
And now, wait. I hope, I said the first thing, one of the biggest casualties of this is going to be globalization. I pray and I hope so because people are really stupid. They're trying to keep that alive. I hope the next casualty of this is faith in the models because the climate change is, again, based on a model. So these people could not even predict how many hospital beds you're going to need in New York, how many are going to be used in New York State or anywhere else. But they're going to predict with absolute confidence that we should have 100% confidence in it. They are going to model what the temperature is going to be in Kansas City 50 years from now.
Well,
right?
they were
There's not
only
that many. There's just not that many variables in such a thing that we
They were
can
only
predict.
off-
That we can absolutely predict what the global climate's going to be. So therefore, we must shut down the industry, make AOC the czar of the world, and all go live in teepees and have
And ride bikes.
third world people plant swamp grass.
because look, at the end of the day, they predicted that New York City would need 110,000 hospital beds. They were off by 95,000, and now the peak is going down. And but see, the other thing that the liberals here are just rejoicing in is the fact that Americans have given up their civil liberties so easily. Like they're shocked at how easy it is. They
totally
just gave it up.
frightening.
They just gave it up. Just hey, keep me safe. Keep me safe. Give me bread and water. Give me a check. Keep me safe. And I'll give up all my liberties. I'll do exactly what you say. I'll stay in. You can do a card check. You can arrest me for watching a sunset. Whatever you need, just keep me safe and give me a check. It's all good because it's going to be easier the next time and the time after that. And it's
That's right.
really sad and sick what is going on here right now as we're turning this into a police state. We got neighbors ratting on neighbors. I mean, the whole thing is gross.
It's gross and it's disgusting, and we've now trained a whole generation to be this way, right? Say my parents' generation was
they
shaped
would
by the
never
Depression.
put up with this. See,
and
they would
World
never
War.
see, but that's the thing. They have trained now an entire generation. You're so right to say, you know what? In times of crisis, I do two things. I do what the government says. I comply and submit to whatever the politicians say because they will keep me safe. And the second thing I do is I turn to the government to solve my problem. Right? They will
Right.
bail me out. They will give me a check. They will keep me safe. They want me to stay in. I'll stay in. They say I can't drive. I can't drive. They say I can't go out for a walk. Fine. I can't walk my dog 2 times a day. If I do it a third time, somebody calls the 1-800-neighborhood rat line. That's fine. It's what we all do. They've trained them to do this. They don't want it to end. They don't want
it to end. That's why they were
That's my
sounding so
point.
sad on NPR the other day. They don't want this to end. It's like, will they ever admit they're wrong? No, they will move the goalpost. Say, well, now we must stay shut down in order to protect the old people.
All right,
well,
I
how
gotta
about you
roll.
put the National Guard around the nursing homes?
Thank
right?
you. I got to roll.